Hey, what's going on, everyone? Let's take a gander at another video. This one is from Randy Feltface, who is a puppet comedian performed by Heath McIver, and I guess pretty popular. I hadn't heard of him yet. I think I might have seen a thumbnail here or there. It sounds funny. I'm interested to see what type of comedy is it. From the title of this video, I'm interested to see where we go with this. Let's just hop into it, man. Let's take a gander and see what we get. Randy Feltface. It reminds me of something Ricky from Trailer Park Boys would say, just like the name Randy Feltface. If you know Trailer Park Boys, you know Randy Leahy. But also Ricky, like, they go rob a liquor store in one episode. And I think he's got a big cardboard box on his head, and he calls himself Bobby Boxhead, Randy Feltface, Bobby Boxhead, and he calls Julian Weldy. He's wearing a welding mask, and he calls him Weldy. Oh, man. Those guys crack me up. Let's go.
Me again. Hello.
It's terrifying.
Am I your favourite part of the show so far? I'm very cute, aren't I? I'm also massively racist.
It's funny because he's dressed like a 6-year-old, and I was like, he looks so innocent.
Yeah, I mean, you know, babies, without exception, prefer faces of their own race. It's just how we come out. It's all like that. And if you're sitting there going, my baby's not racist, I'm talking specifically to you and your goddamn racist baby. I suppose up until this point in my life, no one's really given me an alternative to that perspective. You know, everybody from the church to, hey, it's Saturday, pretty much reinforces the idea that different means worse.
Is he throwing hey Saturday under the bridge?
Which is probably why I'm also quite homophobic, I think. That one's a real bummer, because I'm actually attracted to some of the boys in my class.
So is the character of Randy Feltface, he's supposed to be like a child or like a teenager or something?
Fooled around with a couple of them, but it's pretty clear that sort of thing is frowned upon. And I'm also attracted to a couple of the girls, so I think I'm just going to put all of my eggs in that basket for now.
He's a kid.
Save myself from the inevitable ridicule, you know. I'm still just a little sponge, you know. Sponge. Just taking everything in, spongety sponge. Forming my little opinions. Oh, spongety sponge. You know, people say all sorts of things around me, and while I don't expect to be protected from reality, sometimes it'd be good to get an explanation to go along with what I'm witnessing. Words have an impact, you know?
The world's a tough, dark, cold place. I'm sorry, kid. It's not going to happen for you. Let's just see where his joke's going.
To go along with what I'm witnessing. Words have an impact, you know? And a single word can have a vastly different impact depending on which side of the fence it lands. The word freedom is often used to imprison. The word settlement might mean birthright to an Israeli and unlawful military occupation to a Palestinian. The word gluten might mean limited menu choices for a handful of people and hilarity for the rest of us. I suppose I'll either settle for these inherited belief systems when I'm older, or actually do a bit of compassionate investigation and consider the alternative.
I love that he's being a little polemicist and really talking about issues and bringing them forth where a lot of people don't want to touch this type of stuff, right? Sometimes he's talking about Gaza and Israel, and what else did he mention there? Let's go back a tiny bit.
Occupation to a Palestinian. Words have an impact, you know? And a single word can have a vastly different impact depending on which side of the fence it lands. The word freedom is often used to imprison. The word settlement might mean birthright to an Israeli and unlawful military occupation to a Palestinian. The word gluten might mean limited menu choices for a handful of people and hilarity clarity for the rest of us. I suppose I'll either settle for these inherited belief systems when I'm older, or actually do a bit of compassionate investigation and consider the alternatives.
Compassionate investigation, consider the alternatives. He's a smart little Feltface, isn't he?
I don't know. Who knows? You know? It's a lot to think about, really. It's probably a bit much to
It's awkward.
be honest.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
What is going on? His mannerisms are so... Is there a baby in the crowd at a comedy show? But is that one of the racist babies? The way his head snapped over and just deadpan, like, looking, the mannerisms and the control of the puppet are absolutely great, man. Hilarious. He's... That's awesome. That's great.
Was that a racist baby? The timing of that was exquisite. It's hard being little, isn't it, baby? You know, it's tricky, it's hard. There's a lot of choices to make and a lot of pressure, you know? Spongety sponge, you know? I mean, I want to be successful when I grow up. I want to make my parents proud, you know? I want to be happy. I want to be a good person. I want like a good job. I want a house, a wife, kids. These are things that I'm told make a successful grown-up. I don't want to be one of those adults that has ants in their car.
What? Okay, so I don't know if the baby was like improvised or that was a pre-set up joke. Like I do have a question, like if it is completely like just that worked out perfectly, because that look of Randy Feltface's was hilarious. His little like snapping his head over and like just the look on his little felt face was great. Who brings a baby to a comedy show though? That thing starts crying, like, right? So I don't know what's going on. Yeah. Anyways, interesting set, man. He's certainly tackling some issues, and you know the satire is pretty biting. It's pretty cool. He's talking about kind of like the innocence of children, upbringing, and the influence of older generations, subsequent generations on those younger generations, and the way that their words and their rhetoric and their propaganda and all of the different societal expectations and ideas are not always correct, and sometimes you need to do some digging for yourself, and that should be taught and embraced, to do some investigation, to do some compassionate investigation, to do some, you know, reading between the lines, looking at things, and not just always following what you're told, especially about the way that we're different when we're much more the same. Everywhere around the world, humans are much more the same than we are different. You know, go to Germany, go to Norway, go to Australia, go to Canada, go to the US, go to a small town and just observe people. And you're going to find a lot of similarity. You're going to find a lot of people that are a lot more similar than you would think. When we might, on the internet, a lot of times on social media, we'll say, oh, those Americans are all brash and completely arrogant arseholes. When in reality, that's not true. I mean, it might be anecdotally from some people's experience. I mean, the U.S. has a lot of people, and maybe just by the chance you saw some bad ones. There's bad people everywhere. There's good people everywhere. Yeah, you know, There is higher percentages in some places. There is some countries that you could say are better than others, more free, right? When it comes down to it, when it comes down to the laws of the land, of course. But social media is going to be a very effective and dangerous tool, as it's already been used to influence the people, the plebs, the proletariat, the voters, the citizens. So, all right. Interesting. I'm very intrigued. We'll see you soon.